Hey Jonesy Babes and Anonymous Jonesy Babes, welcome back to my channel. So I want to talk to you about a mother and her 5 children that are unhoused, and 2 of her children have passed away. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. This is such a tragedy. A mother had called for help a few months before her 2 children likely passed away from hypothermia while sleeping in a van at a Detroit casino parking garage. Now Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan is calling for an extensive review of the city's homeless services. Detroit police and the mayor released further details surrounding the circumstances of the situation on Tuesday. At around 1 a.m. on Monday, February 10th, a van pulled into the Hollywood Casino parking garage in Detroit. A mother and her 5 kids went to the 9th floor of the garage, and at some point while they were sleeping, the car ran out of gas. Before the mother realized her children weren't breathing, she called a family friend to help because the vehicle wasn't running, according to the interim chief, Todd Bedinson. The family friend arrived at the garage and was trying to help the mother determine if the car stopped due to a mechanical failure or for some other reason. As they were figuring this out, the mother realized her 9-year-old son wasn't breathing. She called 911 for help at around noon on Monday, but the family friend immediately took the boy to Children's Hospital. The call taker was given little information and had to call the mom back multiple times. After that, the mother called the family friend again, and she realized her 2-year-old daughter also wasn't breathing. I can't even imagine what's going through her mind right now. Oh my goodness. The whole family got into the vehicle and went to the hospital. Police say at 12:47 p.m. they received a call from the hospital saying the 2 children had been pronounced deceased. The cause of death appears to be hypothermia, but they are still waiting for the official cause of death from the medical examiner. On Monday night, police said the mother had been detained, but during the update on Tuesday, Bedinson said no one is currently detained. The other 3 children are okay and with other family members. When asked if family members weren't aware of the situation, Bedinson said the mother had a lot of pride. She loved her kids and she wanted to keep the family together. Listen, I know about that pride all too well. Okay? I know about that pride. I know about that pride. Trust me. It's been times where, my kids, when my kids were smaller, and I was a little bit down on my luck and everything, and my kids were smaller. I made sure my kids ate and I went without. I didn't reach out to nobody. I didn't tell anybody. I said, listen, we're going to ride this out. I made sure they had, right? As far as myself, I would eat little things here and there, little snacks, but I never wanted to eat anything that was going to take from them, And I forget what happened. I think I told one of my friends or whatever, and honey, she cursed me out so bad. She was like, don't you ever do that no more. If you ever need anything, you tell me. And she was like, you know what, that pride of yours is something else. But you know what? My mom had that same pride. My grandmother had that same pride. I guess it's just something that we feel like we don't want to burden anybody. We don't want to ask anybody for help. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm reading this, and he said the mother had a lot of pride, I know all too well about that pride. I'm still the same way. You would never know if I'm down on my luck if you saw me in the street. You would never know anything about me unless I tell you. And even if I need something, I'm hesitant for anybody to do anything for me. And I know there's people out there that understand. But I know about their pride. Trust me, I know all too well about their pride. He also said the family had been in the car without heat for many hours and said investigators learned that the family had been living in the vehicle for the past 2 or 3 months. What's going on with the shelter system there? What's going on with the shelter system? Now, I'm not saying New York shelter system is top tier, because let me tell you something. The shelters in New York, they got some mess with them too. But let's just say she was in New York and that happened, she'd be able to go through something called PATH. All right? They would not let her stay on the street. They would not let her live in her car. She would go through PATH. They would process her and her family and see if they could put her somewhere until they could put her into a permanent spot. And yes, New York City is overcrowded in the shelters, but PATH will still take them in. I'm not sure how every state, what their laws and their rules and their shelter system is like, but come on. I don't know. They parked in various casino parking lots, and investigators learned that this was because it was free to do so. It provided an aspect of safety, and they can go inside a casino to use the restrooms. The mayor said that they are investigating the circumstances surrounding the situation, and preliminary information shows that the mother had called the city's homeless response team on November 25th, 2024. The family had also reached out for help in the summer of 2024 and the previous year. When they called on November 25th, they said they had been living with a family and couldn't keep, living there and needed some place to go. Now, throughout the conversation with the call taker, no resolution was reached, according to the mayor. The family had been living in the vehicle for the last 2 to 3 months. When a situation is deemed an emergency, they'll send an outreach worker to the site, but for whatever reason, the situation hadn't been deemed as an emergency at the time. The mayor said the mother never called back after that, and the homeless service staff never followed up with the family. Now, due to the circumstance of this heartbreaking situation, the mayor has called for a review of the city's homeless services to determine what needs to be done to prevent this from happening again. Are we doing everything to make sure that the people in this city know how to access this critical care? And that was from the mayor's mouth. He said there were shelter beds available not far from where the family was while they were in the garage, and just 3 weeks after that, called the city, opened a family drop-in center on December 16. Since December of 2023, the city has made 400 more shelter beds, more than 100 drop-in beds available, and the mayor said the city needs to do a better job of getting the information to people that need it. Despite there being extensive media coverage about it, the mayor said they need to find a way to get this information to people experiencing homelessness who might not have easy access to television or social media. He said over the next 2 weeks, he's called for a complete review of the call center and housing specialists so they can establish a new plan for addressing situations like this. The mayor also already put a new policy in place and said that anytime minors are involved in experiencing homelessness, an outreach worker must automatically do a site visit to identify the situation and resolve it. But this should have been done, though. Get what I'm saying? This is a sad situation. This lady lost 2 of her children. This is a sad situation. Now, I'm glad the other 3 children are with family, It just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And I heard about this story as well on TikTok and on Twitter and other social media. And you know what? I think it was on TikTok that somebody was judging this lady. How can you judge her? How can you judge her? Times are hard right now. Everybody is probably one paycheck away from being homeless. The more you work, the more you make, the more you have to pay rents. So either if you get a raise at your job, you can't enjoy that raise because guess what? Your rent just went up. Food just went up. Did you know that eggs are like $8 and $9? Eggs now. Eggs. $8 to $9. All right? Meat has gone up. Crazy. Everybody is fighting to survive these days. Everybody. So nobody can judge anyone. I would never in my life judge anybody because you know what? I know how this lady feel. I didn't lose my children, but I know how it feels to be unhoused. Okay? I know how it feels to be unhoused. Been there, done that. And just because somebody stays in a shelter, it doesn't mean that you are better than them. I just don't understand how people could judge people like that. I really don't. I don't understand it, but I'm not going to get too deep into it. But there's no way in the heck I'm judging this lady. No. Absolutely not. She has enough to deal with. She lost 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old, that she has to deal with. Do you know what her mental is like right now? Do you know how she feels right now? She's going through a lot. She's going to need counseling. She's going to need services for herself so that she could be strong enough to take care of her other 3 children. It's just sad. It's just sad. And I'm going to get off this subject because I'm feeling really upset right now because what's going on, people? What's going on? And you know what else I experienced when I was unhoused many years ago? You know what I experienced? When you call certain shelters or you call the call centers, those people on the other end, they can be really nasty. They act like they giving you the services out of their pocket. They act like they putting you up somewhere. Oh yes, they can be very nasty. Not saying she experienced that, but I have. Sometimes those people that work in the shelter system are horrible people. Their attitude stinks. And they look down on you with their nose all turned up. Oh, honey, I have some stories I can tell you guys. What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But anyway, I just want to share this with you all. Please keep the mom in your prayers. Keep her other children in your prayers. You know, because it's hard out here. And everybody is trying to survive. Everybody. There's people who are under a bridge with a sign. There's people who are on the corner with a sign. There's people in their cars. Everybody's trying to live in this economy. And it's messed up. It's messed up. All right. Like I said, please send the mom and the rest of her children your prayers. I send my prayers and condolences to her because I can't even imagine what she's going through. And I'll talk to you guys later.